Hello, I'm Jen, and this is a Sims 4 speed build. So, this is apartment number 2 of the family place apartments for rent. There's no custom content in any of this. I have yet to dabble in custom content furniture and things. I have very heavily considered it at times, and I may well do a video in the future. I don't know. But currently, all of my builds are all no CC, no custom content at all. I take that back. I did download the Red Shelf once. And I did a couple of builds with that installed, but I think, fingers crossed, I did it in a way and I uploaded it to the gallery in a way that doesn't affect the build. It's still considered unmodded and no custom content, I think. I hope. I've never really checked on that to make sure though, but essentially no custom content in my builds as far as furniture or anything goes. This is all game official DLC. So now that we've got that lengthy and useless explanation out of the way, let's talk about apartment number 2. For this one, I went number 1. Initially, as I was decorating this room, and I don't know why I picked the kids' room first, I just did. I felt the calling, if you will, to do this room first. But initially, as I was decorating it, I was setting it up for a like mid-age teen, or maybe like a younger teen and then an older child sim, so that they weren't too far apart in age, because they have to share a room, but also that they were separated in age. And that sort of dynamic in a place like this can lead to, at least in real life, you have to make the story yourself in The Sims 4, right? But that kind of dynamic can lead to issues between siblings sometimes. And I imagine one is a very nerdy, space loving. The child is a very nerdy, space loving sim, and the teen is more sports oriented. And so they maybe don't get along super well because their interests are pretty different from one another. I did also envision this being two boys, two masculine Sims, but honestly, it could work with two girls as well. It really, it's not. I mean, traditionally, it seems over masculinized, but I had a blue bedroom when I was a kid, and I personally love that gray carpet, that gray rug on the floor, and I've always been fascinated by space. I'm not a sports person, but I am very into space and science and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, this really and truly could work for masculine or feminine Sims. But yes, it's very black, very dark, very heavy. But that's because the entire apartment is that way, not because it's made specifically with the masculine Sims in mind. Before we go on, did I mention this at the beginning? Jeez, I'm super tired today. I'm so sorry. I threw this build together, this decorate this apartment thing together in 2.5 hours last night. I am recording this voiceover just a couple of hours before this video is gonna be, uploaded and made public. So I'm really pushing my own imposed, yes, but still deadline to like the very last minutes because, that's just how I operate sometimes. But being tired, I can't remember what I said. And my daughter already told me I tend to ramble way too much. So forgive me if I already said this, but I'm going to try to say this sooner in videos. And I may forget and also say it at the end again, but I hope that you're enjoying these videos. And if you could, don't forget to like and subscribe if you are, because the support is more appreciated than you could ever even imagine, like at all. So, anyways, I am particularly proud of this room. I went out on a limb and tried some cluttering things like putting the glasses on top of the books that I don't typically do. I don't mind this, honestly. The amount of clutter that I put in this room is not bad, and I don't mind it, and it works. It looks good. It doesn't look overwhelming to me, and so I might carry these sorts of things on into the future, like a hybrid between my need for everything to not be out and on display and the desire of maximalism that most people have these days. Could I have done more with this room? Sure. But in my mind, it's the parents' sanctuary away from the chaos of the children's mess and all that kind of stuff. And as I will explain later on in the video, they have a solution. They just haven't implemented that solution. But for now, this room is like the children are sort of sick of sharing a room together. They're annoying each other and they're annoying the parents to some extent. And so this is the parents' sanctuary away from all of that chaos and, just sibling rivalry and all that kind of stuff. So this is very much a grown-up's bedroom where they can just come and get away from life if they need to. Again, another galley kitchen. It's just the way this place turned out. Also, again, another very large kitchen. I do change up because these apartments are actually enormous. Like I don't know if you can really get the feel for how big these apartments are watching the videos. Even the walkthroughs, I don't think really give you a feel for how enormous these apartments actually turned out to be. So if you download the build at the end when I get all the apartments finished and you enter into it in game yourself, you will see that these apartments are actually massive. And so it does feel kind of weird that they are only 2 bedrooms. And shortly after I finish the kitchen, I think I start looking around, and obviously I cut all of this out of this video, but I start looking around and I start thinking, why are we cramming a teenager and a child into one room together? This place is massive. We have the space if we change the floor plan a little bit to have each child have their own bedroom. And then, but there wouldn't be a story then, right? because the story of this apartment is that we've got these two children. One is a teenager and one is a child, crammed into one bedroom together, and they are not getting along well in there. And so the parents are like kind of fed up with it, and they just need their own spaces to get away from the constant arguments and stuff. Uh, but I think I created a solution within that story and the sort of premise of why this house is set up the way it is that works, but also makes good use of the space as well. So they added on a third room. It's a really tiny room because once you add the walls for another room, the space shrinks. Like it really shrinks down a lot. So it's not like you can have another huge bedroom. But the idea is they've added another room on and separated the dining room and the living room, just to create more separation in spaces, and also because otherwise, honestly, it looked funny if I didn't separate the two rooms. Although it did create this weird, like, space where the children's bedroom bumps out a little bit, and I don't know, the living room has turned out a little bit weird. I'm not in love with the living room, but it's okay. But anyways, they added this extra room on, and the idea is that as the story progresses, the older child asks to have their own space. And so, right now, as you'll see in a few minutes, that third room is decorated as an office. Now, they added this room on in the video, I added it on later, but in the story, they added this room on years ago when the children were very young, anticipating that someday someone might ask for their own bedroom. So I kind of went with that idea, and I have it decorated as an office right now. And the parents are anticipating that they will need to make this into a bedroom pretty soon because the children are just not getting along well. And in my mind, they moved the younger child into the smaller room, even though the younger child has more stuff and bigger things like a toy box and stuff. The idea being that they give the older child more space because they are older and they need more space to grow and mature and become their own like person, and uh, that was, this is probably the most elaborate story I've made in my head of a family that I've built for ever. I don't think I've ever quite gotten this elaborate with a story for one of my builds, literally ever. In the whole history of playing The Sims for, it'll be 24 years this year. This year in the summer will be 24 years that I've been playing The Sims. I do not think I've ever created a story this elaborate for one of my builds before, but it was fun. It was fun to create that story in my head as I was creating the build for this family. I kind of actually enjoyed it, honestly. I used to write when I was a kid. I used to write. I used to write a lot, actually, like all the time. But I gave it up. I gave it up a long time ago because I just didn't feel like I was very good at it. And I have a hard time. I absolutely cannot write short stories to save my life, but Excuse me, my voice again today. I also can't write longer stories because I know the beginning and I know where I want it to end. I just don't know how to connect the two in a way that doesn't meander on for infinity. You know what I mean? I'm one of those kind of writers that gets stuck in the middle and can't figure out how to get my way back out to the end. So I kind of gave up on writing, but it was fun creating a story for this family that I was making this apartment for. And it's got to be one of my more favorite apartments because I didn't I let it be messy and eclectic. I didn't stick to any one particular thing and was like, okay, I've chosen this. I have to stick with it now. I just went wherever I felt like going with each room and I didn't worry about it. And it was fun. It was fun building this. So here we are outside of apartment number 2. And again, I didn't really do anything with the front porch because I don't know, I guess I just didn't feel like it. We've got the entryway here, closed storage for the most part, again, keeping the entryway pretty tidy and a little bit sparse, but still nice. Then we enter directly into the living room. I did not separate these two spaces. You know what's weird about this apartment is they incorporate the children into the living room a lot less than apartment number 1, and yet it feels more family oriented, at least just looking at it from this space versus the living room of apartment number 1. When you get to the dining room area of apartment number 2, which is open to the living room, you can definitely see that they've incorporated their child more into the whole house, whereas these guys definitely did not. This is a very grown up dining room and not really child oriented. The only thing that's really here is the toy box and the car on the coffee table. So, yes, we've separated the dining room from the living room in this one just because it made more sense once we added that spare room on. So, let's go around to the kitchen. The kitchen again is just your basic galley kitchen, nothing fancy, a little bit of family clutter here and there. I did not do anything with the back patio this time. I don't know why. I just didn't feel like this family cared that much about the back patio as much as the other families might. They don't really spend a lot of time back there, so let's get into the bedrooms now. We'll go back to the front of the house where the bedroom door for the children's bedroom is. And then here is the bedroom that the children currently share. I think it turned out really cute, a little bit eclectic. Definitely, you can tell that there is a younger child and a slightly older teen sharing this room here, but it works. It actually turned out really nice and they match, honestly. As different as they are, sports and space, they actually kind of match quite a bit. So I think it turned out cute. We'll go back through the dining room and I guess we'll look at this third bedroom or den or whatever real quick. Very small, very small room, very tightly cramped in. So, you would think they would put the teen in here who has less stuff, but in my mind, they end up moving the child in here. Older child privilege and all that kind of stuff. So here is the main shared bathroom. Nothing fancy. little cabinet for toiletries and stuff, a tower, what? No, a shower tub. Wow, that was awesome. I'm not even gonna bother cutting that out. A shower tub combo, and nothing fancy, but a bathroom. And then the parents' room. I also really, really love this room. I love the little details of the glasses on top of the books and the lotions and potions next to the bedside there. And then just the clutter, but not cluttered look of this room. I think it turned out really, really nice. And then finally, the parents' bathroom, which is very different now that I'm realizing it. It is a totally different look and feel from the parents' bedroom. It's white, it's stark, it's almost sterile looking. And then you go into the warm, moody, deep bedroom. Huh. I don't think I realized that, obviously, while I was decorating. That was weird and interesting. Hey, let's go with it, right? But yeah, that's the second apartment in the family place apartments. I I love elements of both. I can't decide which one I like more. You just wait till we get into the next ones, though. Those are really gonna be fun. I feel like I went a little too dark and moody with these first two. The next one's gonna be super, super fun. I can't wait to show you that one. So, as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.